Greetings everyone and welcome back to a new remaster video. Now today we're going to be working on Gothic 3, which is actually one of my favorite open world games, but it just has way too many issues to the point that we need a lot of mods, and I mean a ton of mods, plugins and the like to make it function properly. So before we start with the whole modifications, there's a few things I need to explain to make sure that everything goes smoothly. If you are on Steam, I don't know if it works on Good Old Games as well, but there's two things you need to do. One is to technically go to Browse local files and basically delete everything. And the reason I'm saying this is we're doing a complete fresh reinstall, because just uninstalling it through Steam doesn't actually get rid of all the mods. If you've even noticed it, my files were actually filled with the Parallel Universe patch and the CP 1.75.14, and I've already uninstalled the game after my playthrough, but the files were still lingering after I reinstalled it to make this video. So in this case, we delete all the files first, then we uninstall it. You can also verify the game cache, that's kind of the same thing, but I don't actually trust it, so we're just doing it the hard way. So just completely delete all the folders, and then just reinstall it fully. Alright, now that the game is downloaded again, I want you to go to Properties, Game Versions and Betas, and make sure it's on the default public version and not on the CPT, nor on the Legacy branch. Once that's done, you're pretty much set to start modding Gothic 3. There are a couple of mods we need to install. I've got the entire list here. We've got the Enhanced Edition patch, we've got the Update Pack, we've got the public beta of the update pack, we've got the Parallel Universe, we've got the Union Plus, and the Complete English. For the Enhanced Edition patch, again, the links will be in the description. Just click it, and then just go all the way down here, and make sure to click this link over here, and it will download the executable. After that, we go over to the int update pack v1.04.11. Again, the page will start like this. Just scroll all the way down and just click the exe file and it will install. The update pack is a Google Drive folder. On the top left, there should be a download button. And once that's done, you will have the files. The Parallel Universe patch, which I definitely recommend. It's kind of the reason why your game will stop skipping frames and crashing all the time. And it works very well with performance. Once again, scroll all the way down and download the exe file. The Union Plus is basically a massive installer for all the modifications that the Gothic 3 community has done, which I'm very thankful for. It's also got some mod packs at the ready. And this is where basically most of our mod guide will go towards too, because there's a lot of explaining that needs to be done, and I want to make sure you don't make any mistakes so that you can enjoy your Gothic 3 experience very well. And last but not least, it's optional. If you want to play your Gothic 3 game in English, it's kind of a must to install the Gothic 3 Union Plus Complete English translation. If you don't do this and you play the game in English and you install all these mods, every single mod description in the game, new armor sets, weapons, quests, dialogue, all that stuff will be empty because there's no English translation for it. So yeah, so then go to Files and download it manually. It will tell you to ask that you need to use the Union Modpack, which we've already installed at this point, and then just click manual download. Alright, I've put all the files over on my desktop to make it easier to look at. First of all, we got the Enhanced Edition patch. That's the first thing we're going to install. It will most likely tell you that the Gothic 3 folder is not found. In my case, it's in Games, Steam Library, Common, Gothic 3. In your case, it might be somewhere else. Most of the time, your Steam folder will be within a program files folder. Mine isn't, so if you can't find your Steam folder, you can also just go to your Gothic 3 at Steam, go to Manage, Browse Local Files, and then at the top here, you can find the link of where your Gothic 3 folder is at. But once you've clicked Gothic 3, you can just press OK, Next, Next. We don't need to read anything. It will tell you that you currently have 1.6 installed, and now we will install 1.74. Or 5, I'm sorry. if it's actually your first time playing Gothic 3 and your first time actually, in this case, modding it, because why would you be here then otherwise, is to actually read the CP manual. There's a lot of information about what has been changed. So, and if you like reading and if you like stats, then I would definitely recommend checking this all out, because there's a lot of information that's very useful and also just nice to look at. So yeah, if it's your first time using CP, read it. Next up, we've got the 1.75 update pack. Again, English, I agree. In most cases, this one automatically does find your folder. So just click next, but if you can't find it, then go to browse and look it up again. Turn armor fix on, and Rus speech or font is dependent whether you're playing the game in Russian or not. If you're not, then leave it off. Just install it. You can show the README if you want, but we don't need to do that. Afterwards, we've got the update pack, which got scripts, data, more scripts, DLL, UI, game, engine. You basically need to go back to Gothic 3, manage, browse local files, and you can already see that you've got the data folder here and the scripts folder. So by that sense, you can already know that the DLL files also need to be on the Gothic 3 file itself. It will ask to replace a couple things. Just click yes, and that should be done. Afterwards, we've got the parallel universe patch. Again, English, the folder will be found automatically. If not, just browse it. Next, next, install. You can read the README if you want and the changelog, but we don't need to do that. Afterwards, we got the Gothic 3 Union Plus, which is the most important thing, and it's basically my entire video. Just unzip it. I don't place it in your Gothic 3 folder, just unzip it somewhere else. I just have it on my desktop for showcasing it. And the English translation is very important to do beforehand. If you happen to accidentally install all the mods first before the English translation, you can technically still fix it by placing the English translation within the Union folder and just install all the checked mods again, and it should work. I've done this once because I made the mistake of not installing the English translation, and I did it much later, but my game didn't really break from it. So you've got a mods folder. If you open up Union, you will also see a mods folder here, and you just drag and drop it, and that's pretty much it. Now you've got all the mods installed, especially to make the game work, which is these four. And now we're going to go and start the Union starter. It will be pretty overwhelming, this entire page, but I will explain it one by one. I won't explain like everything that it does, but I will explain the mod pack that I will be using, the most important bits, what it's going to change, what it adds. And aside from the mod pack that I will be choosing, I will also install some mods of myself, and I will also explain to you which ones are optional and which ones you could turn on by yourself if you'd really like to. First thing I would recommend though, before actually installing mods, is to go to your settings page. It will say that in most cases your necessary patches are not installed. We have done this. Recheck doesn't actually work. You need to go to your game settings up here, but right now it's telling me that the exe file of Gothic is on my desktop, which doesn't make any sense. So you click here, and then, well, in my case it's already on Gothic 3, but once more, at this point you know how to find the folder. So just click the exe file, and in my case now it should all be checked. Next up, I would also uncheck the quick loot and save. And now we can go to the top right again and go back to mods. In the case of this video, I'm gonna go with the ultimate mod pack. You can go also for the Slidden mod pack for New Balance on hard mode or light mode. The biggest difference I'm aware of is that in hard mode, at least, the enemies' health regenerate. And there's an easy game mod pack which doesn't choose the excessive hardcore difficulty options. But I'll be honest, the ultimate mod pack isn't actually that hardcore, so don't worry so much about it. So in my case, let's go with the ultimate mod pack. You will notice that already 39 mods have been checked. A lot of the mods will be grayed out. That means it's incompatible with most of the choices that the mod pack makes, but there are still a few that we can click. You will see, for example, over here, there's a ton of options we are still able to click, and we're going to go over them one by one, but not all. So don't worry, this won't be an hour video. I would keep CM rebalance off. Learn points, I will actually explain this a little bit later. as well as the learning threshold tweaks and the new game configuration. They are on by default and you can't turn them off, but you can edit them later on. This one, for example, is off. Magic, no god to be chosen. With this mod, you can learn higher spells before choosing one of the gods. I would leave it off because otherwise the game is a bit too easy. Balance Ultimate is what the mod mostly is balanced about. You, for example, get 50 LP at the start to be able to pump and build a starting build. There's new magic projectiles for crossbows and bows. There's good compatibility with new balance in combat, accelerated cast of spells. You get health, stamina, and mana per level up. New spells, weapon damage is counted at 100 for NPCs instead of 15. Reworking of spells and perks. And just many more other things. So yeah, but it's on by default. I'm just trying to tell you what it mostly will be doing. There is a... That's my man over there. There is a Conquest Easy Paladin. It basically means you can learn the Paladin skill early in the game. I would recommend turning it on or off depending on how difficult you want your game to be. If you want to deal more damage against the undead early on, then turn the option off. If you want to learn it at a later stage, I would just keep it off. Total Rebalance doesn't work because we're already using the Balance Ultimate. These ones are already on. ICS Classic Camera, a very good mod by the way. There's Animation Pack for Monsters Unleashed and Rapier Style. So rapier weapons for your hunting skills will have different animations. You can see how this looks. I've tried it for a while. It's really, really cool. So yeah, if you want to go for a rapier build, I'd recommend it. Now, these ones are all off by default, the animations redone. However, in our case, we are going to turn them all on. You can see examples of how the animations will look like, which I think is at least much, much better than vanilla. You got the staffs and halberds, two-handed swords, which is my favorite one, unarmed movement, and bows and crossbows. You can also change the normal attack, finishing attacks, quick attacks for most of these weapons. Again, very optional. I usually have stab attacks. This basically gives you the option to obtain armor sets and weapons that you had by the end of Gothic 2. In some rate, it does make sense because, you know, why would the Nameless Hero be wearing simple clothing while going to the mainland, knowing that it's invaded by the orcs? But at the same time, for the game's sake, having heavy Dragon Hunter armor and the Claw of Belly at the start of the game, even though you probably won't be able to wear them, it just makes it... Obtaining such items earlier is just game-breaking to me, and I feel like the whole difficulty aspect of the game is completely gone. So I would leave it off. Gameplay. I would leave Citizens on, Conquest Leadership off. It just makes the game easier because you can have more allies with you. LTM off, Tame Animal off, Teleport off, more teleportation stones on, so you get more teleportations at these areas mentioned here. Specifically useful for the Blacksmith Pedas Hut, the Morasul Temple, and the Nomad's Oasis near Baccaresh. And there's also added stones to Druid Porgan and to Nefarius' camp. This one can be turned on. No revolution counter. Now, very optional once again. If you prefer the idea of not having any hostile enemies based on the faction you are attacking, then I would recommend turning it on. Basically means that if you want to invade 3 separate cities, the orcs won't actually tell you that someone's been attacking their people and they're not going to trust anyone and they will start becoming hostile to you. That's basically the revolution counter. I believe at the 3rd count, they will become hostile. And for immersion, I guess it can make sense and it adds depth to the world. But to me, it's always just been a very annoying mechanic because at the end of the day, I am playing a game and I'd like to just keep games very gamified, if that makes sense. So I turn the no revolution counter on because I just like attacking the orcs in my case. Immersive cook off. This option gives the ability to kill meat bugs, snakes, rabbits, and small lizards by stepping on them. This is one of the most important mods, and I would definitely recommend to turn it. Extended frying, quick loot. This is why I told you to turn off quick loot on the settings because it's incompatible with the mod of the ultimate pack. Refresh trade generated. All right. And I would keep enchant stones off, shield rebalance off, and sneaky loot off. You have one option you can turn on at the global mods, which is the alternative world. It adds many more structures around the world. Like Zardas's tower is basically much bigger, but it's technically tied behind the teleportation, and the Zardas doesn't actually go here, and there's no NPCs around here as far as I recall, and there's nothing interesting except for grabbing some generic chests with generic loot. There's no cool items to be found in any of these places. I would keep it off, and the reason why is, while it does add more places in the game, there's one issue with the pirate quest line. One of the NPC's pathway is blocked because of the added structure, and you have to try and cheat your way through and make sure that the NPC is able to follow a different path by like pushing him around to try and fix the issue. There's also a few items hidden underneath these structures, for example, like plants, could be permanent plants or plants for the permanent potions. Sometimes even one quest item is hidden below one of these things. Vanguard's area, for example, has a few items or like 2 or 3 chests that are placed underneath these structures, so you're actually not able to grab them. So in my case, turn it off. If you want to check it out one time and see how it is, sure, leave it on, but you will hamper your experience. So keep alternative world off. Animals hardcore mod, I'd keep it off. Conquest Enclaves, I would keep it off. Limited sleep, keep it off in my case, but these are just very optional to how you want to play the game. You can change the head of the hero. I actually like the default one, but if I'd have to go for one of these options, I'd go for the content mod version. The one with the ponytail is the Arcania one, but this face looks horrendous, so I would not recommend it. And I mean, I don't know what they were thinking with this head. I know it's pre-alpha, but forget about it. I would turn on the ini draw distance at normal. I would turn on the feedback effect. It basically removes the red frames around the edges of your screen if you're nearing death. There's a lot of options here. You can only choose one of them. It changes basically the entire UI of the game. It changes the hotbar. It changes your inventory, stats, everything. My favorite one is the night theme. It closely resembles Gothic 2 Night of the Raven. So I would turn this on if you like that version itself. But otherwise, choose whichever you want. You've got an image to check out and have a basic idea on how it looks like. Floating damage, very MMO-esque. If you like to see the damage you're dealing in front of your screen, turning on. Stat bar values, turn it on as well. There are some model replaces. In my case, I have to see, by the way, because I sometimes forget. I sometimes forget which one is incompatible. I would turn on Orc mode light, Bloodfly model, Boar model, Crawler, Demon, Goblin, Lurker, Scavenger, Shadow Beast, Snapper, Troll, Varan, Wolf model. Dragon rewards. It adds loot from the dragon corpses and some new armor sets. So I would recommend turning it on if you like it, and turn on armor and weapon rebuild as well. If you turn on CM citizen textures, you won't be able to turn on the armor and weapon rebuild, so that's why I leave that one off. And if you turn on light instead of full, you'll have compatibility with another mod that I will show later. So make sure to choose light or none at all. It's just very optional. Music. You have the streaming music, which removes any songs from Gothic 3 that has copyright issues, like Vista Point, because it uses there's another song that uses the background with Vista Point, and you will always get claimed. Now, you can dispute it, and it will always work out in the end, but you will have to do this for every video. Trust me, I've been in this position. If you want to record or stream the damn game, turn this option on. You won't be able to hear Vista Point, just deal with it. Music for Gothic 2 and 1. It says Gothic 2 Night of the Raven, but I haven't actually noticed any music from the expansion of Jarkandar. If you want Gothic 1 or 2 music and 2 music in Gothic 3, turn it on, but otherwise leave it off. In my case, I usually have Smart Music menu on, which uses the Arcania main menu theme, which is really good, and the Smart Music mode. New adventures, I would turn it on. It adds a couple new locations later on, as well as some enemies like bears, bloodhounds, shadow warriors, and swamp golems. There's an update pack support mod. I would turn it on for some minor corrections. Atmospheric weathers, I would turn this on. Reduced fog, I would actually keep it off. And then you've got most of these options, just leave it on default. I wouldn't change anything about it. Quest Packet is a very old mod, and it has a massive amount of quests. It's very optional whether you want to have it. In my case, I actually do leave it off. But if you want to have more quests and make your experience even longer, then turn it on. But in my case, I'm going to keep it off. There's achievements. I would actually turn it on. I personally love achievements in games. I'm also an achievement hunter, but it also gives you stat bonuses. I would leave quest edit off, and I would leave alternative bonuses off. Sound mods, I do like the old monster sounds from Gothic 2, as well as the orc sounds. The screaming sound, listen, I don't actually like the original screaming sound, but I do turn it on. Story mods, we've got the quest fix mod. We have the Night Chronicle on by default. If you want to find out where the night NPC is at, if you go towards Montera and meet Dominic, I believe, one of the first mercenaries near a farm, that forces you to go to Montera within 2 or 3 days. Instead of going to the right towards Montera, you should go to the left, and at the end of the road, you will meet him for the first time. Afterwards, you can find him in Cape Dun. You will do a quest for him. After that, you will go to Morasul. After Morasul, you will go to the Fire Clan, I believe, and then you basically finished his quest line. Pirate Dream, definitely turn it on. It adds an entire new faction. And RGL, I would also turn it on. It's Lee's revenge towards the king. Dialogue skipper, very optional. Item locator is on by default. Item map, also very optional. I leave these things off. Time multiplier, I do actually turn it on, but again, if you don't like speeding up the world, keep it off. I would leave these texture mods alone. Don't click any of them. German voice and Polish voice mods is dependent whether you speak the language and you'd like to hear them in that voice. And for the world texture pack, I would only recommend choosing. Well, actually, I wouldn't recommend. You can only choose one of them. In my case, I always go for the retextured final. Now we've got 94 mods to install. So once you've clicked everything you want, I'd say install all the checked mods. All mods will be removed and game settings will be reset. That's completely fine. Click yes. It will take a very long time for everything to be installed. So just wait until it's done. All right, mods were installed successfully. It is recommended to start a new game. Set recommended game settings. Yes. And there we go. We have done it. Now, as I did mention early on the top side about learn points, learning threshold, and the new configuration system, you can go over to scripts on the top right, which is now a new page you can click. And you can change a lot of things around here. You can change the item locators on and off key, the distance, the icon size, what it should display. You can go to the Gothic 3 fixes, hotkey to switch companion to attack mode, chance to freeze an enemy with a quick casted spell. I would generally take a couple of minutes to check out all these settings to see what you would like to save up before starting the game. Learning threshold on default is on hardcore. So basically, after reaching a value of 250 for strength or hunting skill, etc., you will have to use 10 learning points. So the hardcore version is basically bringing the Gothic 2 Night of the Raven system of leveling to Gothic 3. But obviously, you can change it back to no threshold or default. Learning points. It says 9. You technically get 10 learning points per level up. So don't change this to 10 or you would get 11. But if you want to get more LP, if you want to get 50 learning points per level up, go at it. You can change how much health you get. So you could, for example, choose to get 11 LP, but get no extra health to sort of balance yourself in a way, but have more fun. Generally, it's whatever you would like to do. Oh, this is not what I want to do. Ooh, go back. New balance in combat. Again, a lot of stats, a lot of things that can be changed if you want. I usually leave everything on default, but if you would like to change a couple things, go for it. I would maybe enable the new spell targeting system, but that's about it. Like, this is already balanced for the playthrough itself, but if you'd like to change a couple things, then go at it. New game configuration, you start at level 1 with 0 XP and with 60 learning points, and this is basically just how many stat points do you want for your character to be at the start of the game. I always have it on default, even the learned spells and stuff, but if you want to have a couple skills active by the time you begin the game, that's your choice. Quick loot, I would turn on allowing combat, I guess. It just makes it much easier and nicer to have. There's also an automatic item collection. If you press O, it would just automatically pick things up without having to right click. I would not always use it because it won't take into account things you steal. So you will get attacked if you accidentally left this on and you go to somebody's house and the NPC is actually in there. So you can get in trouble. Again, you can change the multipliers for the monsters, for example, base weapon damage, bleeding effects applied. There are a lot of stats you can change, but I would definitely recommend reading them all a little bit at least before you start the game. But even on default, it's already pretty nice. I would keep this on long teleport, keep that enabled, and the time multiplier, it's on 2.5, but you can speed it up if you want that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all the settings. Now we're gonna get into the game because there's still a couple things we need to do. All right, we're finally in the game. As you can see, we have the 1.75 version with the beta, and we also have the parallel edition, so everything should be working, and I'm using the night theme, so this is how my main menu shows up like, but if you choose a different one for yourself, then it's gonna have a different outlook. Now you have to go to the details, and then custom, and I would change depth of field to off. I would turn overglow effect to either bloom or completely off. I mean, the feedback effect is already off, and the color grading, I definitely recommend keeping that off. That's pretty much it. If you notice often crashes, I would recommend turning some of the very high options to high, and that should be good. Remember, crashes can happen. At the end of the day, this mod pack has nearly 100 mods installed, which is a lot, and things can always break a little bit. So afterwards, you do need to restart the game, otherwise it doesn't work. And there we have it. Now we have finally fully modded Gothic 3 for modern systems. As you can see, I'm currently using pretty much all modded content in terms of armor, because this is not available in Gothic 3, as well as the helmet and the weapon. Things you could change, for example, on the ini file is increase the draw distance a little bit. I wouldn't go too crazy with the numbers, but I would say place it a little bit higher compared to what I'm currently looking at. I just left it at default right now because I'm not going to play it right now. I just wanted to make a mod tutorial, but you can go to the ini files and change the view distance values in order to make it to how you want to have it look like. And otherwise, keep it like this, which is also kind of fine for this game. As you can see, currently using a one-handed sword. The animations are pretty much very different, and except for the right attacks, but it should be a little bit more doable. So yeah, this is pretty much Gothic 3 modded. So I hope I was able to help you out a little bit. I want to thank you all for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone. Peace.